Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
We're still making videos.
Still making videos, because no baby yet.
Baby.
Baby. No, it was funny, though. We actually had an OB appointment today. That, pre-scheduled that if she hadn't delivered yet, just to make sure, where things were going and all that stuff. And it was really strange, and maybe you can tell me if this is something that you normally were dealt with when, you were, when your wife was pregnant with, your daughter. But the lady, like the aide is the person who like comes out and gets your I don't know if it's the nurse or a tech or what they are at, like Kaiser, because we're with Kaiser. But
right.
they bring you back and they get the blood pressure, the weight, the vital signs and all that stuff, and then they put you in the room. And usually it's okay, put you in the room. They already have all the equipment there, or whatever that they're gonna need for your appointment based on what they think is happening at the appointment. And they're like, okay, the doctor will be in, she's seeing like one person ahead of you or whatever, and then they'll be in here or whatever. That's normally the end of it. And then at the end you'll see that person again, pretty much to give you the paperwork to leave.
Right.
And this lady, it was a new either tech or nurse or whoever they are at this particular place that walked us in. I'd never seen her before, and she walked us in, did all the normal stuff, put us in the room, and kind of walked out. And then she came back in about 15 or 20 seconds after she left and knocks on the door and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. Are you guys still sexually active?" We were like, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay," and then she walked out the door.
Huh.
And it never came up in any conversation with the doctor. And I understand that during, pregnancy, that's, it might be a normal thing to ask. I don't quite know why they necessarily ask if you're still sexually active during pregnancy, but I do know it's relatively normal. But I'm not understanding why the tech person came in to ask us that, and then with there was nothing there was no follow-up. There was nothing.
I mean, she probably checked a box on whatever paperwork, and that was that.
Yeah, I guess so, but nobody's ever asked us that before throughout the whole last pregnancy and this one so far, and we are now, T minus -1 day till due date. Due date was yesterday.
Right. Well, I didn't go to every single one of ours, so maybe that did get asked at some point. I will say that the moment we were having sex and my daughter kicked me, that was the last time we had sex until the baby was born.
Oh, come on.
My dick had never been gotten soft so fast in my life as that moment.
Maybe it's just because
I was just like, this is done.
Maybe it's just because I understand the medical way it all works. Because you didn't kick you in the dick, It's just
kick me in the stomach or whatever. Right. But that was entirely too much. I'm not having sex when my daughter's involved. Basically, I mean, I know she's not involved, but her participation in this particular thing was too high.
Because you always see in the movies and the TV shows or whatever, and they're like, no, I can't have sex with you. I'm gonna hurt the baby. It's gonna poke the baby. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I wasn't worried about that. Right. It was just it freaked me out. It was just.
And how long into the pregnancy was that?
God, that wasn't I don't know, when did this baby start kicking? 6 months,
yeah,
5 months.
So you just went for that many months without?
Oh yeah. We didn't have sex for a long time. A long time.
I mean, if you want true honesty here, people, this is the real deal. Wife and I just did it right before I start recording. I'll be honest right now. I'll be honest. I wasn't really in the mood. She convinced me to do it, but it's because it actually is. It's helpful to get labor progressing.
Right.
And so, but I mean, it hasn't talked about that. It hasn't stopped us throughout the pregnancy though. Nothing's been. We've never been pregnancy, can't have sex. It's never been one of those. It's more just how do you get in the right comfortable position now with your belly getting bigger and bigger?
Right.
Type.
No,
that's been the main
it wasn't for me.
Wow, I'm shocked. I want to know people out there watching our videos who have babies, during your pregnancy, whether you're the man or the woman. Was it weird? Did you stop? Did you go straight through till the end? What was the? Because now I'm curious. I've never heard of somebody stopping as early as you did because
it's too much for me. Too much interaction. And I remember we had the conversation about if she didn't go into labor that we would try to induce labor by having sex. I remember talking about that and that being okay, but that was more like, I don't know, I got a job to do here. I'm gonna fucking put my work clothes on and do my job. I don't know. It was very weird to me. It wasn't for me. It was a big turnoff.
So how was it afterwards? Was it still on your mind at all?
No, no. But we didn't go right back to it immediately, just because she didn't want to actually. Well, she was always the sexual drive in our relationship, anyways. I've always been the a couple times a month that I'm good. Where she was like, all right, if it's not at least every night,
it was not at least every night.
Yeah, and it was honestly always too much for me. Like I couldn't keep up.
You know what? I will. I think we've talked about this before, like in person. Like I am similar to you. I don't think I'm as low as you, but more than
twice a month. I think I over exaggerated just now, honestly. I think like at least once a week is where I truly lie.
Yeah, see, I'm all about like 2 or 3 times a week would be great for me, and anything like less than that, okay, I could deal with. More than that is like, so I've had this history of relationships throughout my dating life since I was somebody having sex who. I dated a lot of females who had a much bigger sexual appetite, and I mean like a daily sexual appetite. And when you live with somebody, which I've lived with a couple people, I know a lot of people are going to be like, Jeff, but you've only been married once. How'd you live with you? Yes, I lived with multiple girls before. At
the same time.
Well, yes, but they weren't girlfriends, per se, or people I was having sex with. I wasn't having sex with multiple people I was living with. But I'm a firm believer that you definitely need to live with somebody before you marry them, because I have one of the first girl that I moved in with, we had been dating for about a year, and 3 months into living together, I mean, we never wanted to speak to each other again. It was the living together. We realized we were not compatible in that close quarters. Right. And it was a perfect knowledge of good. Well, we know we're not supposed to get married, type of deal.
Right.
But I get stuck in these situations where for some reason, I don't know what it is, but the girl that I've been with that has this really high sexual appetite always wants it, like decides that going to bed is the time you go have sex and then you go to sleep. And it started making me dread going to sleep, because I would plan out in my mind, okay, we'll watch this TV show, then we'll go lay down. I have to get up early in the morning, but then I got to, put out 15 or 20 minutes that we're going to have sex. Like, it made it dreadful because I knew the routine, and I would try to talk about how when it's on a routine and on a schedule like that, I'm no longer like interested. And that would just, of course, start fights. Oh, that means you're not interested in me. It's like, no, it's not that. It's that. It's a schedule. It's a routine. It's no longer a spontaneous, fun thing.
Yeah. No, I completely. I mean, I think that was what I think, because I remember like in high school, whenever Crystal and I would meet up or whatever, we'd have sex like, many times a day sort of thing. But I mean, you're young. And
right.
Whatever. But then once we moved in together, then it became the like once a night thing. But it was a thing. But I think that the expectation was also part of the put off. Like if I'm not, it's like I'm expected to do this thing every night.
Yeah. And it's scheduled. Like it's scheduled. Sex is no longer enjoyable sex in my mind.
Right.
It's just,
but with me too, I like variety. Like I don't want to.
You like different girls every night.
No. Same woman, but I like variety. I really do. Like I mean, I don't want to. It can't be missionary all the time. It can't be this, or it can't be anything all the time. It needs to be something different. It's kind of like I'm not a leftover kind of guy. I don't like the same food twice in a row. I also don't like the same sex twice in a row.
You can have the leftovers. Just spice it up a little bit.
Maybe.
Add some paprika to those leftovers. Give them a different flavor.
So yeah, I don't know. But I mean, that was never really a problem with us. It was just, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if it's the same every time, then it gets boring to me.
No, I mean, I can agree with all things that you say on this front. And yeah, it's I can't do it all the time. It just makes it no longer exciting. So those people who can, there's a lot of people out there who claim that they're like, sex addicts or whatever. And I honestly think that's just an excuse because they want to go, bang somebody different. Like, if you're that much of a sex addict, you know, you can't. Why aren't you just having sex with the person you're married to all the time? You know, for those people who are you know, using it as an excuse when they want to cheat or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's because their partner doesn't have a sexual appetite and they don't want it. Maybe they're like us. Maybe we're gonna, you know, lose all future female relationships that have high appetites to you know. Cheating because they're gonna go have say that they're sex addicts and we're not fulfilling their needs.
Maybe
I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. Yeah.
Can we sleep? Because there's too many of these damn.
I think that's one of those hard things where you're never gonna find someone that's exactly. I mean, I guess it's possible you could find someone that's got the exact same sex drive as you, but.
Well, I mean, if you and I got married, apparently we're a couple times a month and we're good.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
And I do find it funny when you because I don't think maybe this is cynicism in me because I'm in like a very dappy like fine relationship, but whenever people say that they're basically their spouse is like their best friend, they never fight, everything is perfect, I'm always like, what the fuck's really happening behind closed doors here? Because
that was what was weird about Crystal. We never argued about anything, and then we got a divorce. That was always so strange to me. And when people ask me why'd you get a divorce, I'm always like, I mean, I don't know. Like looking back on it, I could see where we definitely had problems, but like. We never argued, and maybe that was just because neither one of us wanted to argue about anything. So maybe that's why we got divorced.
Yeah, maybe the not arguing actually keeps the things bottled up inside as opposed to actually getting like out
like
there.
Growing up in a family where there was constant but it wasn't just arguing. It was like there was physical violence and stuff. I clam up. Like I'm not a yelling, screaming type of person, and I can't like deal with it even. So like if I was in a relationship where I was getting screamed at by my significant other ever, it would be pretty much end immediately. And like I've seen you and Julia scream at each other or whatever. Like that night that we fucking played Jackbox, everybody was very angry.
There was also a lot of alcohol and
there was a lot of alcohol. I'm not saying you and Julia are in a bad relationship. Please don't anyone out there take me me saying that. I'm just saying like even that small amount, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that small amount that happened on that night would be too much for me. Like I couldn't handle. I don't know if you remember. I freaked out at your house that night.
You did. I do remember.
So yeah, I can't handle people screaming. So I guess that's. So if I ever get like, I can't imagine like I don't want to stereotype, but it seems like Jersey girls are like that, where they get real fucking animated when they argue, and that I couldn't handle that. Julia's not from Jersey, is she?
No, she's not. She's not from New Jersey. I guess I've never seen that stereotype specifically with Jersey, unless you're just talking like from the Jersey Shore or something. I mean
that show does come to mind, but like something about like I don't know. I guess this is a TV bred thing that's going on in my mind for sure. So yeah, I don't know where that stereotype has gotten my head from. It's from the television, so I don't know. Yeah, there's probably no reality in the stereotype that's in my head, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I definitely have, you know, I've seen in my day a bunch of like people in crazy terrible relationships with ridiculous like fights that they had all the time. So maybe it's something I'm used to seeing.
Well, that's what I grew up with, and I guess that's why I can't handle
it. But not me. Like from an outsider's perspective, I mean, because I did not grow up like my parents did. Never like ever fought in front of us. I remember once seeing, and I don't think I understood what was happening, and I don't remember why. But my mom and my dad were fighting about something, and my dad like went and got in the car and drove away. And he was only gone for like 20 minutes or whatever because he needed to go cool off. But it was because I didn't find out until later. It was because like they never argued. They made sure they never argued in front of the kids. And when he realized that they were arguing and the kids were home, he's like, I'm out of here for 20 minutes to cool off because this doesn't need to happen. So I don't know how many like arguments or whatever they've had like behind closed doors. I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, I was never, you know.
Right.
That stuff never happened, but Oops. And I plan on being the same way if we ever start having like, major arguments or whatever. I hope we're not having them in front of the kids.
Yeah, I think it's not good. It's also, I guess it's also not good to have like this silent treatment in front of the kids either. You have to like balance it where like kids are now in bed, let's fucking hash our shit.
Right. It always makes
but let's be very friendly during the day still, even though we're angry at each other right now.
It makes me wonder because my sister went through, 3 kids who went through a really nasty divorce. And I always sit there and wonder, I'm like, man, I wonder how bad was it when the kids were around, or how bad is it now? Because like they've been divorced for 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 years now even, and they still text messages only, and it's only to communicate the drop-off or pickup spot.
Right.
And that is all that there is to it. There is no discussion about anything else with them. If there has to be, it's usually through like the friend of the court.
Wow. Chris and I aren't that bad, but I don't think we'll ever be friends again. Like, I think that no amount of time will pass where we're like, hey, I saw this new TV show, and I think it's something you might like. That sort of thing. Like, hell, the other day I finished an audiobook series, and I knew it's something that she'd like, and I sent her a text, and
she was like, don't fucking talk to me.
No, she just didn't respond. And I'm sure it's one of those things where even if she knows that she would like it, she probably didn't use my link to get the free audiobook because I sent it, sort of thing. Like, if her friends had sent it, it'd have been okay, but since I did, fuck this book, probably.
I just can't imagine being in that situation. Like, I mean, yours, because if you guys can be cordial at least, I mean, even if you're not friends, cordial's good. Like, my sister and her ex-husband, it's not even cordial. It's like,
right.
And every time they talk to, or not they talk, whenever she talks about it with anybody, like my whole family is like, again, well, my dad, I can't say my whole family. My mom is really against him. Because it's one of those, he hurt my baby, gotta be with, the daughter and all. I think my dad's a little more level-headed in the aspect where he'll just kind of like say what he needs to say to make sure, he's on the right side, but he kind of is like, there's still children involved that he's always going to be the father of, no matter what. So try to keep things on as level of a playing field as, as possible.
Right.
But yeah, there's always negative talk. Every time I go home, it's like, oh, did you hear the new thing that, blah, blah, blah did? And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And it's really fucked up. But I also wonder how much of it gets exaggerated by the time I hear it.
Right.
Like, did it really happen that way? And it very well could have. I'm not saying that it didn't, but I just don't know because I'm not there.
So I've had a problem with her where, so after we got divorced, I told her to put her cell phone on her own account. We've been divorced for quite a while now, like probably 2 years, I guess. I don't know. Definitely been separated for 2 years. I don't know if we've been divorced 2 years. Either way,
because you guys had that whole waiting clause or whatever.
Yeah, you got to wait a year before you get divorced, so that you have a chance to not get divorced, I guess. But anyways, I've been telling her for 2 years now, I'm gonna say, to get her phone on her own account, and she just doesn't. And every month I'm like, all right, this is how much your cell phone costs. And honestly, I'm probably undercharging her because like on my bill her phone is like $35, but that's because it's a bundle. So really what I should be doing is taking like the total bill is this amount divided by 5 sort of thing, because there's 5 devices, and that's what she should be paying. But anyways, regardless, so at this point, she's next month will be 7 months behind, and I have been like, so whenever she still worked at the bank here, she would just deposit the money in the account. But then 7 months ago, she got a new job, so she just stopped paying. And every month, I'm like, cell phone's overdue. Cell phone's overdue. Cell phone's overdue. So a couple weeks ago, I sent her a message, and I'm like, okay, listen, cell phone is now 6 months delinquent.
It's getting turned off if you don't pay.
Yeah, no, I said, I'm calling AT&T right now, and your cell phone will not be paid for in the next billing cycle. Find another account or pay for it immediately. And I said, and if you do pay for it immediately, still, you need to remove it from my account by March, and it will be disconnected regardless. And she's like, okay, it'll get paid on the 15th whenever I get paid. So yesterday, still hadn't been paid for this fucking cell phone. And I was like, listen.
What did she say she's paying? The back due or the month?
Yeah. She said, no, yeah. She said she was going to pay it in full on the 15th when she got paid. And so whenever I hate to even like air these things because it's really it is petty, but I mean it is something too. Like if I owed her like $150, she wouldn't just be like, "Oh, you owe me $150, but I'm sure you're good for it." So I was like on the 22nd, I was like, "Okay, it's the 15th is come and gone, and I still don't have a damn payment for this cell phone." And she's like, "Well, what I meant to say was I get paid on the 15th, and I'll pay you out of that check." It's like, but when?
Yeah. So you pay in like 2 years out of that check.
I know, right? I've held the money from that check, and you'll get it,
right?
someday.
Like, so if she got paid on the 15th, it would reason would say that she pays you the 15th with that money out of that check. Otherwise, that check goes elsewhere.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't understand.
But, and I know people out there might think things like that are petty. I absolutely don't think stuff like that is petty. Two of the things that I hate the most in the world of what people to do is take advantage of things like that. Like, I get being behind a month or something like that. I get it. Work something out with the person. 6-7 months is now you're just taking advantage of somebody. And that and just general lateness, like, so lateness for paying and lateness like in general, those are things that I can't stand. You know, we've talked about the airport thing before. You know, my wife is obviously not the same way I am. She drove somewhere once at 3:00 in the morning with no traffic, 90 miles an hour, and it took her 10 minutes. Therefore, it will always take her 10 minutes, and that's what she will allow for that. You know, for that drive.
Yeah, I hate shit like that,
and I am not like that at all. And if I were to have to do it all over again, I would say the biggest pet peeve I have in my current relationship is the lateness factor, and I would have put my foot down more or walked away
earlier on,
because sometimes it just gets so frustrating. And I say that slightly facetiously, but that's how upset I get about it sometimes.
Yeah, I hate procrastination. And that's what Crystal was always guilty of. She'll procrastinate, and I think that's what it comes down to with like the cell phone thing. I don't think she's trying to like get off with not paying. I think she just like, I'll pay it, and then she just doesn't, and then here we are again. I mean, it's kind of like her heart doctor. She always had to go see this heart doctor, but she couldn't fucking make it there if I didn't make sure that she got the damn thing done. Like, it was like one of those things where she just didn't schedule her heart doctor appointment. And like, I was talking to her boyfriend not too long ago, and I was like, "Has she seen her heart doctor in a while?" And he's like, "She's never seen her heart doctor since we started dating." And I'm like, "You need to make her see her fucking heart doctor. Like, she's had heart surgery and she's supposed to see." Anyway,
she's got a heart.
Not my problem anymore.
For hearts.
So probably more. I should really just leave it alone. I shouldn't care.
But I would slightly disagree with the statement that you just made, though. And you said that what you don't like is procrastination, and it comes down to procrastination. Like with the phone bill, you don't think it's being like trying to get away with it. It's procrastinating. No. Procrastination is putting something off, but you still have deadlines to meet. I could be working on something now that's due in 3 weeks, but instead I'm waiting till the night before it's due and trying to get it done. That's, I think every college student ever is like notoriously guilty of that. And I occasionally do that at work, and I hate myself when I do something at the last minute, or I'm even slightly late because of the fact that I procrastinated until like the last minute. 7 months is no longer procrastinating. 7 months past a deadline is not procrastinating.
Right. In fact, whenever him and I had this conversation, he was like, I brought up procrastination. He's like, "I don't think it's that. I think she's just lazy." I was like, "Well, maybe you're right."
There you go. Like, even the current boyfriend is like, yeah. And so it's really funny to me, and funny in not a ha-ha way, but kind of like a sad way, that you're closer, have better conversations with the boyfriend than the ex at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But this is not the first person that this has happened for me with. Like there was this girl in high school that I was just obsessed with, in love with. I'm sure I've told you about her before. Her name was Erin, and she was just I thought the love of my life. And after me and her broke up, the next guy she dated, they were dating for like a week, and he asked me to start giving him rides home from school. And I was like, all right, I'll give you a ride home from school.
So
I would take him home from.
But were you in the friend zone and you were trying to maintain that happiness?
I was definitely in the friend zone with her for a very long time.
That's a whole different thing, though, because you were still trying to
even
get
in the
back
friend
in.
zone, you're not like friends with the new boyfriend. You hate him and want him to go away. But he was a nice guy. He didn't do anything wrong to me. And so like when he needed a ride home from school, I was like, sure. And then he would like complain to me about her, and I was like, yeah, I had that problem about this and that, and like I don't know. It's weird, but I never like hold anything against the new guy, I guess.
I mean, that's good, but I think also part of the reason why you were doing it was to stay on her good side. I don't think it was...
Oh, she hated it. She broke up with him over it.
Oh, interesting. That's a different spin on things than I was not expecting to hear.
Yeah, that's why their relationship didn't work. She yelled at me, and she was like, you need to not be friends with Matt. And I'm like, I was good friends with his cousin before, like, and I mean... why? They broke up.
Interesting. I remember the the quote-unquote love of my life in high school, the girl I always wanted and could never get, like all through high school. And I don't know why I was obsessed with this chick. And we were friends, and it was very clear, like she knew that I was really into her, and I was so everything. I was like, oh yeah, of course I'll do that for you because we're friends, not because I'm trying to make sure I get in your pants. Though I'd never slept with anybody at that point yet, but you know what I'm talking about,
right?
And I don't know what happened, but like my senior year, I really kind of started coming into my own and getting a lot more self-confidence. I think I started working like at McDonald's, and though that sounds weird, like I got a lot of self-confidence because I made a lot of outside friends that weren't at my school anymore. And so it was like my social circles expanded, and I realized it wasn't just this like little teeny like clique that I had always known, and that's the only thing I had. And for whatever reason, I don't know, it gave me more confidence or whatever, but she started to get really into me near the end of my senior year. And I guess middle of my senior year, because I started dating somebody at the end of it. And she started getting really into me, and I was like, oh, wow, finally, I'm getting my chance. Like, I guess, even though I wasn't really that interested in her anymore, I better go for this because, this is the girl I'd been chasing forever. And now all of a sudden she's wants me to start doing stuff. And I remember being at her house one day, and everybody lived with their parents, her parents had gone out to the back to do something, and she like started making out with me and like started rolling around on the floor like heavy, like we'd never kissed before, but she like initiated this whole thing, and I was like, oh, kind of cool. And I remember her saying distinctly, we're laying on the floor, and I can just picture it, and she said something like, wow, bet you never thought this would happen. All those years you were chasing after me, and now it's finally happening. And my mind was like, I don't fucking want anything to do with this shit.
Yeah.
And I got
up, that would be the immediate turn off.
I was like, yeah, you're right. I gotta go. I forgot I have to do something, and I left. Fucking just walked out of the house. Like, the girl I had wanted the entire time through high school, and she made the comment. She made it in just such a snide way of basically saying,
that's like super arrogance.
Yeah,
right
like
there.
I know that you wanted me, and I didn't want anything to do with you, and now all of a sudden I want you. Like, look, you finally won, and it's like, you know what?
Good.
I'm really gonna win when I walk out of this house.
Yeah, right.
Type of deal. I don't know if that was me being a dick or if I was just like...
No, I think that's a sign of maturity, honestly. Like, fuck you. You're not goddamn some super prize to be won that you're like, I don't know. That just seems so arrogant. It's gross.
And it's, what's really funny to go back and think about. And she's a cool girl. We stayed friends, obviously. We did not become friends because of it. And we hung out a little bit after college. We met up a couple years after college and went to like some bar, not as dates or anything like that, just as friends. And like, so we maintained a friendship, but she was not like, looking back on it now, she was not a super attractive girl or anything like that. She was like average. She was actually a ginger, and not ginger. I know. I'm saying I'm saying I'm saying it as if all like. But traditionally, people don't like when you picture the girl that I had been like infatuated with throughout high school. Are you picturing a pale-skinned, redheaded girl?
I've always been super attracted to pale-skinned, red-haired girls.
Apparently, I have too.
Yeah, pale skin in general is something that's like on the top of my list. So I mean, for me, it's like that sounds great.
I'm sorry to all the gingers I've offended. I wasn't trying to say it in an offensive way.
You're not supposed to use that word. Only ginger can say ginger.
Oh God! Now we're one of it. I was born with red hair.
This is worse than the people experiencing homelessness, Jeff.
Oh no! So is that a person experiencing gingerness?
A person's experiencing soullessness.
No, but I was just saying it from a perspective of most people weren't picturing that, because of course at the time I found her extremely attractive, but she just was not like a super, like, she wasn't your supermodel gorgeous person that you'd be picturing when you picture the person you're infatuated with for all this time. I guess maybe people's high school crushes and stuff though weren't always just super attractive. It was because you had a friendship with them and you liked the personality.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that was always so weird with me looking back on this Erin girl that I was super infatuated with. We dated for almost a year, and I can't remember a single meaningful conversation we ever had. Like, at no point, I cannot. When I try to think back on
high school is not about meaningful conversations, Guude.
We didn't have sex either, though. We didn't do anything. I mean, we made out and we dry humped each other and shit like that. But we never had sex.
High school. I guess high school nowadays is about sex. Middle school is about sex nowadays, sadly. But back in our day, it was not a bad thing to still be a virgin your senior year, even your beginning. It's not a bad thing now still to be a virgin at that point. It's just less common.
Right. All right. Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't know why. I couldn't tell you now why I ever even cared about her. Like, I don't know. Like, she's pretty and all, but she wasn't like a supermodel or anything. But I don't think I've ever a supermodel like that like I don't know, like overly buff, overly tan,
overly buff. I'm not
like
I don't picture supermodels.
Maybe not overly buff, but like overly even like toned, like the overly toned women that like have the poofy hair, like this the typical supermodel picture that you see does not attract me at all. It seems too fake or too
fake.
Something like it doesn't seem realistic, and it just seems so unrealistic that it's unattractive to me. So maybe that's just me. I don't know. But normally, whenever somebody would like point out a picture to me and be like, "Oh yeah, she's hot," like the Pamela Anderson, that look to me is just ugh.
Oh, that look to me is pretty hot. But there's also other looks out that are pretty hot. Like I'm really into the white trash look. I don't know why. It's they're like my people, and I like the dyed hair, but your roots are like 2 inches thick, blonde, but you have stark black dyed hair. I think that's so fucking hot, and I don't know why. And most people look at that and they're like, "That is just white trash," and I'm like, "I know. That's why I love it."
Okay, all right. All right.
Well, I don't know
we're out of here, everybody.
Everybody in the comments, blow it up.
We'll see y'all later.
See ya.